no rules.
My word. Sweet. All right. All right. Meg, what's up? Welcome to the Empty Space Podcast. How are you?
Thank you. Thanks for having me, man. I'm good. I'm good.
Sweet. And we're acting like you never did that already. Anyways, now, what's up, Meg? So I'm so excited to have you on the Empty Space Podcast. You might have just found out about us like we just kind of found out about you, which I'm sure a lot of people have since you've announced the Warped Tour, which I know we'll talk about that for sure, whatever you can talk about. But welcome. This is a show about pop punk music and mental health.
Sick. Happy to be here.
Hell yeah. Okay. So first thing I have to say before we start, which I wanted to say, was like Descendants. Is that like your favorite band? Because it's right
Oh,
behind you.
yes, the poster. It
Oh
is
shit.
one of my favorites. Yeah, for sure. You
Okay.
know,
Yeah.
I grew up in the South Bay, so that whole scene is just kind of in my blood.
I can dig it. Yeah, they're one of my favorites. Black Flag, Descendants, Minor Threat, all
Mhm.
those old school punk rock bands, punk bands, really. But anyways, we got Meg, LA, South Bay, like you said. Born and raised, haven't left.
I just moved to Nashville, believe it or not.
Get out, really?
Yeah.
No shit. Everyone's going there.
Dude, it was just one of those things that I've been fighting for years because I'm just such a SoCal girl
Yeah.
to my core. Especially the South Bay, I feel like has is such a piece of my identity and like my entire brand.
Yeah.
Um, but it's just opportunity after opportunity, and it got to the point where it was like, just because I leave the South Bay for a couple years doesn't mean that it takes away who I am. In fact,
No.
like you're supposed to like leave your hometown every now and again, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's kind of what it was. My boyfriend ended up getting a job offer at the same time that I did. And it was just like in our career fields, it felt like, okay, I can't keep turning this down. So we made the move like 2 months ago and it's been pretty sick.
Damn. Good for you. That's dope. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, I feel like that's the spot. Everyone I'm talking to is like moving down there. I know a lot of people down there, especially artists too. I'm pretty sure JJR is down there from Keep Flying. A couple other guys are down there, but congrats on the move. Congrats
Thank
on Warped. But before we get into that, I definitely just generic like who are you? You know, what is Meg? What is the music? Like just give me a little background on the music and then we'll get into some fun stuff like that.
Okay, cool. Who is Meg? Dude, I'm just a loud girl from Redondo Beach, California, making music with my best friends and just screaming in people's faces as much as I possibly can. I love writing music. I love performing. I have a musical theater background. So I'm probably pretty theatrical. Uh, I grew up with four brothers and in the South Bay while doing musical theater. So I feel like my music, there's a lot of those colors and there's a theatrical element, very much a tomboy element to that. And then obviously my brothers introduced me to like Rancid and Descendants and Black Flag, Minor Threat, Sublime, fucking I mean, Jesus, I think at one point we were a big Static X family for a second.
Yeah, let's go, dude. All right.
Disturbed. I mean, like all that shit. So, but I was like a Spice Girls bitch and like a Britney Spears girl too. So it was very interesting kind of finding my voice with all of that. Um, I've been doing musical theater since I was 5. I went to the Los Angeles County High School for the Arts for high school. I majored in classical voice, minored in musical theater. And then I was in a pop girl group for a while. That was hilarious. And then went to USC for popular music performance. My year was like the first year of the program ever. So we were just like little guinea pigs, kind of like figuring out the program together, which was sick. Then Meg was created in college. I opened for the Used and Hot Water Music at Muse Inc. And then, yeah, that was fucking crazy. That was the show. Fucking Bert ripped his arm
Oh, that
off,
was that show?
bro.
Oh shit.
So like, it was like pouring rain this day, and like pouring rain. And I remember it being like really slippery and like everyone was kind of like, fucking around. And so like that's essentially what happened. Like the stage was pretty dry because we were obviously the first band to play. But
Yeah.
as soon as we got into the pit, like you were like fighting for your life to stay on your feet. So
Shit.
like I don't know what else was going on with Bert, like what was happening in his own personal situation, but I will say like I think the rain had a lot to do with the fucking like that was crazy.
Damn.
And then graduated from college, started a pop punk band with my buddies called Party for One. Tried out The Voice for a second, and
Hmm.
then released another solo EP. And then I fell in love and thought that maybe I wanted like a normal, non-musical life. Fucking stupid. Tried that for like 3 years. It was like miserable. Never smoked so much pot, like ate food. It was like so bad, so depressed. And then COVID hit, and like for most people, it was like devastating. But for me, I feel kind of guilty saying it. Like I feel like I really found myself during COVID.
Mm,
Because that relationship ended, the whole world slowed down. So like I had nothing else to do but really like look at myself in the mirror and see the life that I was living versus the life that I wanted.
yeah.
Got to finish this EP that was just kind of dicking around behind me, finished it, put it out, and then got back into consistently writing and releasing music. Um, since then, just been doing a bunch of shows, releasing a fuck ton of music. Last year, I released a song every 6 weeks. And then obviously the Warped Tour thing happened. I
Yep.
got the call in like December, and that just like changed.
Damn.
So cheesy, changed my life. It fucking changed
Well, it
my life.
fucking did, dude. Come on, let's be real, bro. What the fuck you cheesy? Come on now.
Like
Damn.
quite literally changed my fucking life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dope. Okay. Well, I'm gonna dissect a lot of that. Well, I'm gonna throw it back at you because you just took like so much shit that like I was blown away at. So I'm gonna be honest. When I looked into you, I was like, okay, I fuck with her. What is this music? Who is she? So I did a little research and I was looking at like all your music and I was like, this girl's all over the place. Like from before, like way back. I'm talking I went back to like 2011 or probably even later than that. I think it was like I don't even know. I was like looking at some of your shit, like the EP and
Oh
then
my
like
God, the
yeah.
EP. I'm
Yeah,
dead.
dude. I was looking at that shit and then obviously Here for Now and I was just like and then some signals like Disney shit. Like I was looking at that and I was like, dude, she's all over the place. I fucking love it. And then yeah, you said you opened for the Used. I saw you opened for Kiss. You did the Disney Concert Hall. I saw the national anthem at the Dodgers Stadium, as well as the LA Galaxy. Appeared on NBC's The Voice, like you just said. Like there were so many things. I was like, the fuck is she not like blown the fuck up? But okay, I gotta ask about like the opening for like the Used and Kissed, and then the Disney Concert Hall. I want those three things. Give me a little bit of juice with those, because those are so crazy. Because the Used was like when I started with punk. I started with like Circle Jerks, Black Flag, all that stuff. Rance was huge, obviously, and then I moved on to like pop punk and punk. So I mixed them all, and the Used was obviously a big influence for us. So what the fuck, dude?
Dude, yeah. So Disney Concert Hall and Dorothy Chandler Pavilion, those were from the high school that I went to.
Okay, connected.
Yeah, yeah. So like we had, I don't know how they did this because it was a public school. You had to audition to get in, but like it was free. So I don't know how they had the money to like have our graduation at the fucking Dorothy Chandler Pavilion.
That's fucked.
And we like like we would like perform there. So like, and then the Disney Concert Hall, we me and a select other group of people got to sing with Kristen Chenoweth, who I don't know if you know who that is.
That's fucking what?
So it's like, dude, like just like,
Your life's been changing, dude.
yeah. I
That's
mean,
crazy.
I love to sing, man, and I will go wherever that takes me. And it's so crazy because like you sit and you look at your life and you compare and you la la la. But then like sitting here with you and having you name out all these things, I'm like, oh fuck, like I forgot about that shit. I forgot
Yeah.
about
That's crazy that that can even be forgotten, but there's like obviously life is like crazy and shit just happens. But like, yeah, that's
that.
wild.
Yeah. And then the used, that was crazy because the Used, I would say, still to this day is like one of the greatest bands to do that genre like
That's a
ever.
fact. That's a
That
fact.
was a fucking fact. And so that was wild. I was working with this producer at the time when the EP came out. These two dudes, Trent and I can't remember the other guy's name. They took me on. They wanted to like they were like believed in my project, wanted to like get me out there, and managed the shit out of me and got me that gig. I was like, what?
Damn.
Because
Just like that, huh?
there were three bands that night. So it was like they
Damn.
had come and I was playing shows all the time at the time, like playing all over LA and all through college and the South Bay and shit. So, they had brought people to come see me play and stuff, but I owe that Used gig to them. They were like
Oh
hungry,
shit.
really fucking believed in me and brought people out to see my shows and they fucked with it and they thought it would be like a nice way to round out me, hot water music and the Used, which is like so mind
That's
blowing.
wild.
Yeah, it was crazy. We like took my family RV and like that was like the tour bus. We like made little t-shirts and like sold them out. And I was like, what, this was 2011. So I was fucking, oh my God, how old was I?
I
20?
just graduated. I was fucking 2010. I graduated.
Yeah, so I was
Damn.
a sophomore in college and I'm like
Damn.
at this tattoo festival with zero tattoos. And I'm just like, walking around like I'm playing like break up with her in an hour. Like
That's fucking crazy, dude.
I look back now and I'm like, this Meg was perfect for that. But
Yeah, 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 yeah.
that Meg, that always really like tickles me because like, yeah, that was
That
fucking
just
crazy.
means that like that was in you regardless, right?
Oh,
Like
yeah,
no
fuck.
matter what came out of you, that's fucking crazy. What about the Kiss one?
The Kiss one, I'm not sure how this got worded to that like I shared the stage with Kiss. We opened for a band called the Wild Things, and Tommy Thayer of Kiss like featured with them. So like we opened for Tommy Thayer and the Wild Things. We didn't
Okay,
like
okay.
open for like the iconic Kiss.
Fuck that.
Um,
We're gonna keep saying Kiss.
yeah, I'm like,
What are you talking about?
where did this get? So there must have been like an
Uh,
EPK issue here
That's
because
hilarious.
not open for Kiss. Sick if I did.
That's fucking hilarious. That's dope. That's really fucking cool. What a start, and then now look at where you're at. That's
Crazy.
fucking crazy. All right. What are you've mentioned a few bands, well, like obviously like the Used, Rancid, Descendants. Are those like your big influences on writing music, or is it all over the place from because you said you started at a younger age with different influences with like the more like the Disney stuff too, not Disney, but like the group orchestra stuff and like where your influences are at.
I would say I started writing music in high school. And prior to that, I'd always been in musical theater, but I grew up listening to equal parts Britney Spears and the Spice Girls to like, all this fucking like hardcore fucking metal, punk, ska. So I think these two versions of me always existed. And once I figured out that I could like blend the two, it was like life changing for me. So like list like No Doubt was a huge inspiration for me in high school when I
Mm,
wrote. Paramore was a huge inspiration for me. Um Katy Perry's first album, One of the Boys,
okay.
that first album, if you haven't heard it, it's even that whole album is just so good. Um like who else was really big? Oh, I was obsessed with Census Fail, obsessed with Take You Back
Oh,
Sunday.
Census Fail. Oh God,
Yeah,
I love
obsessed
them.
with Sublime. Like so many of those bands, I wouldn't say really influenced my writing, but I think they influenced my live performance. I think they
Mm,
influenced my production input. I think they influenced like musically, but like lyrically and songwriting and shit, like I was really into the Distillers, No Doubt, Paramore. Those were
yeah, of
like a
course,
big
of
influence.
course. That makes so much sense. Yo, because the first thing I was gonna say about like what I hear was like if the Distillers, Paramore, Avril Lavigne, and there's I don't know if you know this old band called the Deadline.
Mhm.
Um, it's a female fronted band called Deadline from like 2005. Absolute fire. if all of those bands had a baby, that's you. Because like it's all over the place. Just but the Deadline was like the first one I heard, and then the Distillers, just because you just have that in you. But it's crazy how melodic your sound can be, and then like how raspy you can also make it, how hard you can go, and how low you can go. Because that's what I mean by when I was like looking at some of your music. I was like, she's all over the place, but you do round it out perfectly with the music you're making, especially now. Like I said, I, I'm new to this with you, just learning. I'm super honest about it, but I that's what I figured out, and you can definitely tell those are like big influences, which is really cool.
So yeah, that's fucking a huge compliment. Thank you so much.
Hell
It's
yeah,
really crazy to never have met you, like to not know shit about each other, and I feel like you understand me musically so well.
yeah, yeah. No,
That's
I'm glad you said that too, because like the feeling's mutual in that sense, and it's good because it also means that like what I do, I have a good ear for this shit.
yeah.
Because a little bit about me and Batch, me and him go way back like 10 years ago. 10, 15 years ago, me and him met. We met through playing hockey together. And then we both were like, yo, you're sad. You like this music. And then see you later. And then we started this podcast during COVID. Like pretty much the whole entire world started podcasts. Um, but we were like, yo, like every time we were sad or upset, we'd call each other and be like, yo, just listen to this song by Blink or Green Day or Real Friends or fucking whatever it was at the time. Killswitch Engage. We didn't care. We were sending it to
Oh
each other.
my God.
Yeah, and we were like, you know what? Like, let's just do this for ourselves and like talk, and it's really helped us. But talking to bands, being in the industry, I've been playing music my whole life. I'm in a band now. Like, I love music. So when I hear someone else put their passion and like and all into it, and Batch included, we could really appreciate what they're doing, and it's cool to hear that back. Is what I'm trying to say. But that's a little bit about like
Hell
us
yeah.
and like how important it is to us because we know that how much you guys put into it, and like it did the same for you growing up, and
Oh yeah.
we just like to like show support for like little guys, the big guys, whoever the fuck wants to come on. Um, so yeah, that's my rant. I do rant a lot, but
I love it, dude. I did my
um,
research. I listened.
fuck yeah,
I was like, this is cool. And like I think that's so it's so fresh to hear people that play music or don't play music be so passionate about listening to music or playing it or writing it or hearing about, the way other people do it or their journeys or whatever. It's like you guys are the people. Like that's the people shit right there.
hell
Music is
yeah.
fucking life changing and it's so refreshing. I feel so like inspired by this
Oh,
5 minutes talking with you
let's
already.
go, dude. Let's
Yeah.
go. That makes me happy. It's also like the other thing we wanted to do when we started this podcast. This is no knock on any other podcast because we support a bunch of podcast shit, but we don't have like a structure. Like we have our normal questions. Like I'm almost done with my normal questions, and I have shit I just want to talk to you about, like as a person. But we don't have structure. Like if you wanted to talk about like how you saw a squirrel the other day and it really reminded you of the movie Up, we'd talk about it. Like we don't give a fuck. So,
I love
um,
that.
but yeah, so a few more things that I really wanted to get into with you was before I move on, actually, the writing process. I always like to ask about that. What's your writing process like? Is it you? Is it a bunch of people in the group? Are you doing the like? What is the writing process for you?
I would say the writing process really it's always collaborative with me. I think I've only written a couple, I can count on one hand the songs I've written by myself, top to bottom. I'm really into collaborating. I think a lot of that comes from the trust that I put in my collaborators. We met in school, we've been working together, making music, playing music together for 15 years. It's
Damn.
like, yeah, it's like sibling shit. So I'll either go to the studio with Rob or AJ or Matthias or whoever and have nothing and we'll just kind of vibe and talk about what we've been listening to. Or I'll have a concept that I want to talk about, or a line or a melody. Or sometimes Rob will like have this like guitar riff or lick that he came up with a couple weeks ago, and I'll top line to that. Sometimes I get really in the nitty gritty about going through like chordal structure and shit. It's all fucking different. But most of the writing stuff I do is with me and Rob, and I'll handle a lot of the lyrics and melody, and he'll handle like the chord structure and the production. A lot of times we'll bring in our buddy AJ Peacocks and he kind of shares in on all of that. A lot of back and forth, kind of like I'm hearing this guitar, this chord going here to that chord. I'm like, oh, sick. Like, let's make that minor. Okay, cool. This is lyrically what I'm thinking. They'll be like, that's cool. Like, change this. I'm like, sick. So a lot of back and forth. Um, I also really some of my favorite songs I've written are just like off the dome, like
Yeah, yeah.
spitting out, no editing, no writing down, just kind of like, hey, I play that again, and then I'll just like sing, and the whole fucking like verse will come out.
I love that. Yeah.
That's my favorite shit. And then other ones like the end, this one's coming out at the end of February or in a week. That one was more of like a Frankenstein idea. It started in one area,
Mm.
and my buddy AJ didn't like the melody that I came up with for the chorus. And then so we ended up just like redoing the verses to figure out what we wanted to fucking say, and then like came back to the chorus and rewrote it. But I would say overall, we're writing in the studio, we're tracking a demo, putting scratch vocals before I go home. And then I listen to the demo over and over again, give myself demoitis. And then by the time Rob produces it out, I wish we could go back to the demo because it sounds more raw and genuine. And then we fight about that. And then we do mastering, and then it's out.
You're just gonna slyly put in demoitis in there. That was hilarious. That was
Oh,
cool.
bro. Rob, like that's his like thing with me is he's now tried to hold off on giving me the demo because he knows I'm just gonna listen to it into the fucking ground. So he tries
That's
to produce it out and make it sound like legit and like put real instruments on it. And I'm like, yeah, but the other ones, I feel like there's more like emotion.
yeah. Relax. That's awesome.
Or
Yo, but you
like
have
I
to do
want
it.
to like do it. I want to keep the scratch vocal because like I'm in that moment there. Like I really
Yeah.
meant what I was saying. So when I have to come back and re-record vocals, a lot of times we'll end up just using the scratch because
Yeah.
better.
Yeah. That's tough. I I could totally understand that from my point because I sing in my band. Now I'm nowhere near like anywhere, but we just have fun with it. But like it's the same type of shit. We're just like usually that type of shit for me is like that's it. I don't want to do it again. That sounds dope. It's raw. It's what I wanted. But I also like how you know you have a foundation like the new song that's coming out, the end with the Frankenstein build. You have like a foundation and you're building off it. It sounds perfect. It sounds like you guys have it well put together.
Yeah, it's fun. Rob, is one of my best friends, and he used to live down the street from me. So like it's like half a mile from my house in California. Um, not anymore. I have to fucking fly now. But
Yeah,
yeah,
how was that? What are you gonna do? What do
dude,
you do?
I have been home so much since I moved here. I feel like I've been in California more than Tennessee since I moved
That's
here.
funny.
December we were just kind of locking in, and then January I was in Florida for a week doing 30A songwriting festival, and then I went straight to LA for 10 days and shot like the Warped Tour announcement video and a
Yep.
music video for the new song, and then lives for a bunch of old shit. And then we had a session, blah blah blah. I'm going back again in a fucking week
Jesus
for a
Christ.
show, and yeah, I'm just racking up that debt,
I'll
baby.
say I hope you got a JetBlue
Hard.
card or something. Holy shit. Damn, bro.
Yeah, I'm hurting.
That's
Like,
Yo, it's all worth it. It's all worth it.
that's
It's
all
all
worth
worth it. The smile on your face, the music you're putting out, the people you're helping, all the fun you get to have as a band, like all the fun you get to have with your boyfriend. Like there's all those aspects to it where it's like, yeah, money kind of sucks, but you do what you got to do, right?
you do what you got to do, and you believe that the money will fucking come. I've like
Facts.
sat in fear and all of this shit for so many years, and it's like, no, fuck it. Like I completely wiped my fucking savings in 2 months making shit that I fucking believe in. My
Yep.
credit card debt is like horrifying, but it's all for shit for my career that I believe in.
Yeah.
And like because of I'm taking all these chances, that saying like leap and the net will appear.
Mm-hmm.
It's like every time I've invested in myself and had a panic attack because I'm just putting it on this like credit card of like invisible like money, a new door opens. And then I
Yeah.
have this new panic attack by this, and then a new door opens. And it's like, I'm just like tired of like holding myself back from really investing in myself the way that I want to out of fear that like I'm not going to be able to like survive or something.
Mm.
It's like, I have a car. If worst comes to worst, like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I know, I see the vision. I believe in the vision. I believe in the music so much. It's like at some point I'll be like laughing about this day, you know?
Yeah. No, you definitely will. You definitely will. You have the right attitude towards it too. I believe at least. And that's how we look at this podcast too. It's like we're just putting in all the effort that we possibly can with the amount of time we have because we both have full-time jobs, we both have families. Like we're just trying to like do what we can to survive, but it's like that, that's hard. Like buying a bunch of merch, going on small tours on the East Coast with local bands and stuff, trying to like promote mental health, but also promote our podcast. It's like there's a lot of struggle with that and anxiety. Like we dropped a couple thousand on merch, and then we were like almost didn't sell it all, and we were like, oh my god, we didn't even make our money back one time. It's like then the next time we made our money. So it's like there's all these things. So and I can only imagine it's tenfold with a band, especially when you have to tour, you got merch, you got all these other things going up, and lyrics to write. Like there's a lot to that. So I mean, props off to you. You're still fucking going, and you're gonna continue to go, and it's clearly showing that's paying off. So whether
Thank
you
you.
have debt or not, we're riding it.
Riding into the sunset,
We're
man.
going. Um, But yeah, so I'm definitely gonna be digging into more of your music. But I will say right now, I've listened to a good amount, but I don't want to talk to you is like probably one of my favorites right now. I love everything about it. Um, that being said, I picked that song. It Tick Me Off's really good too. But I don't want to talk to you was like the one that when you listen to a band for the first time and you're just trying you find a song and you're like that's it. That one
Yeah,
clicked with me. Can you just give me a little bit about that song, like a background on it or anything?
dude. Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs too. And I feel like it's so overlooked. So like, fuck yeah, I love that you fuck with that one. I was really going through it. Like I a lot of times will hold back or like not try to like really sit in being angry. And just kind of like try to be chill or whatever. But like I was like really fucked in the head when we wrote that song. I had just gotten off, like I was trying to like do like a cleanse of like I don't want to be on like
Mm,
birth control and that's no shade to people that take it, but it's like, I'm just trying to get rid of anything that's extra in my body. We were like really cracking down on like processed foods, just like all kinds of shit that's like not natural for you. I was trying to just get rid of. And nobody told me like the side effects of getting off birth control like that. And so I didn't realize my hormones were like going crazy and I like was actually going crazy in my brain. Um, and so I just like called up Rob and I was like, "Yeah, can we like write?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm free." And so like I walked over and I was just like pissed off. And he like started with that like like that little guitar line. And
yeah.
that was one of those riff where I just like went off
Mm.
and just kind of like pushed record on my phone and like didn't even type shit out. I was just like screaming at him while he was playing guitar. And we were like, and then that was that. And then I kind of just like took a breath and I was like, oh my God, I feel so much better. And we both just kind of started laughing. And then I was like, dude, I kind of want to go into like a weird like Say Anything will go into like a completely different song like mid song and then
Oh yeah.
find
Oh
Max will
yeah.
find back. So it's like I kind of want to go into like some Blink 182 just like whatever vibe. And so he just started like picking that chord.
Yeah, dude, that's
And I
sick.
just went into like, dude, I'm just a fucking South baby with an attitude and just started going off, vibing it. And then we got to that part like, and I don't want to talk to you. And then I'm looking at him and he's looking at me like, what do you want me to do? And I was like, keep going. I don't want to talk to you. And we just like kept doing it. And then we kind of just like met. That's the thing is Rob can read my fucking mind. So he could
Mm.
like see that the anger was like coming back. So he was like, man, and then we just like went into another chorus and him and I are both huge Every Time I Die fans. So like
Oh
I don't
fuck
know if
yeah.
you caught that like when I'm doing that scream at the beginning of the song.
I'll have
The
to go back.
like it's a very like Every
Oh
Time I
shit.
Die moment production wise.
Okay. I'll be on I gotta go back and listen to it, but I'm sure I'll hear it.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to go back. And because I think we were just like, him and I will obsess over albums. And like, we used to do a lot of road trips together in college, and we would just go like album by album by
Oh,
album,
I
just like,
bet. I bet,
literally,
yeah.
yeah, the whole thing. Like, Oh my God, we went through like a whole Avenged Sevenfold obsession for a
Yo,
couple
let's go,
years.
dude. Me
Let's
too.
fucking go. I
That's
like was
hilarious.
convinced I wanted the death bat as like a tramp stamp tattoo when I was
Yo,
like,
relax. Oh, that's too funny, dude. Yo, that's hilarious. Yeah,
yeah,
me
so
too.
that's that. I bet, bitch. I
No
fucking
bullshit.
bet.
Holy shit. Yeah, that's a fucking crazy. That was such a wow. That's such a cool description of like how you wrote the song. That's probably one of the coolest descriptions I've ever had on the podcast. No bullshit. That was really fun because I could like in your face see you in the studio or in a room, whatever you wherever you were, just like talking to Rob and connecting through that. And that's chemistry. That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. He's fucking brilliant. He's such a great he's an incredible musician, incredible producer, incredible songwriter, and he puts up with my ass. So it's just like and
That's fucking awesome. Yo, that's cool. That's cool. All right. All right, I gotta ask about Warped Tour because that's where I found you. That's where a lot of people are gonna find you. That's probably the coolest fucking thing that I've ever heard of. Any band that I know of or any artist that's gotten on Warped Tour as of right now, because we're close to the same age. It sounds like we're in our 30s and we grew up on Warped Tour. That was huge, and like most people listening, they did too. Um, and there's obviously been like ups and downs of people with Warped Tour, but I don't want to get into that right now. What I want to get into is like whatever you can talk about. If you can't talk about shit, that's fine. But like you said December is when you knew. Give me the story, dude. What the fuck? The feeling must have been insane.
oh my God, yeah. Yeah. It was one of those things where it was like I had been going back and forth about moving here for so long. Like I just couldn't. And then when Evan brought it up that he wanted a movie, I got the job. And then we sat on it for months, dude. And I was like, I can't do it. And then finally my mom was like, you have to fucking like get out and like try something new. So then I ended up doing it. And we had just moved there. So I was in a session and I remember feeling really like excited that I was here, but kind of displaced. And like, I go to the beach, or I used to go to the beach every fucking day. So it was like, if I was happy, I would go to the beach. If I was sad, I'd go to the beach, blah, blah, blah. So I was having this moment where like all I wanted to do was fucking go to the beach. And I'm sitting in this session and I'm just like, I don't know where my head was at. And this email came through. Mind you, I'll go from the beginning of the story, but when that email came through, this was after like a year of consistently putting out music. I mean, the ups and downs. I mean, it was just like such a crazy year for me in a lot of beautiful ways and a lot of wild ways. And wondering if, you know, how it can be like you put out a song and you get like 500 streams and you're like,
Mm.
fuck, like I put so much into that.
Yeah, that's
You know?
I can't imagine. I've never done that. So yeah.
Ooh, and so you're just like, nobody sees the back end of like the content shit that nobody wants to do, but we have to. Like the fucking mix notes, the master notes, the distribution, the whole plan, the vision, the music video, the blah blah blah. So it was one of those things where it was like, yeah, that was really fun, but like, was it worth it? And
Hmm.
then that email came through, and I was like, damn, that felt like a nod from the powers that be of like, it was the right thing to move to Nashville. It was the right thing to put all that music out. All this shit that you're feeling was for a reason. It was like the perfect bow to the end of 2024. Because I would say 2024 is like the year I really fucking worked my ass off. Like I pushed myself beyond fucking sanity and like I really overdid it in a lot of ways. And to have that stamp of like it was all worth it at the end was like it could make me fucking cry. So to answer your question, how that felt, fucking surreal. Like it still doesn't feel real. Like sometimes I'll go and look at at the fucking poster and just like, I screamed when I got the email. I screamed my fucking head off,
Oh,
obviously.
sure.
Then I started like shaking, and then I started crying, and then I just like dropped the session, like went to call my boyfriend, and then I called my mom, and then I called my brothers, and then I went home and drank my face off. It was fucking but okay, so the story. I don't know how much I'm allowed to tell, but I'm gonna tell it because like who cares?
Okay,
Um,
fair. That's your call. I totally
like,
respect it either way, you know.
you know what I mean? It's like fucking Warped Tour. It's not like the Super Bowl halftime show. Like, you
It's
know what I
I
mean?
I got you. I'm here. I'm listening.
You know? Um, I had wanted to play Warped Tour as every 13-year-old that's ever been wants to. Every year I went, it just like grew my hunger for wanting to play. I was like, wow, like of all the festivals I've been to, like this is the one. This is like a community for the fucking weirdos, a fucking culture for the misfits before it was fucking cool. Like this shit was not fucking cool when we were going to Warped Tour.
Oh
And
no.
like now it happens to be cool because of all kinds of shit that we won't go into because you'll never get me to shut up.
Yeah.
But it was like a community for the fucking misfits, which was always so dope. Then when it stopped, I was like, damn, like I'll never get to do that. That's like shitty. Like whatever, you know, there's other festivals, other things to be done. And then when there was like a rumor that it was coming back, I called Rob and I was like, I'm getting on this fucking bill. I don't know how, but I'm getting on this fucking bill. So like I wrote it on my fucking mirror in my bathroom. It said
Dope.
Megg at Warped Tour 2025. And I left it up for up until we moved. And basically, because I grew up in the South Bay, I was like, there has to be a way that I can get a hold of Kevin Lyman. Like, has to be. So I what did I do first? Oh, first I made a video and I put on Instagram that was just like a compilation of like live shows. It was just like heard Warped Tour might be coming back. Like everybody tag Kevin, DM Kevin, like let's annoy the fuck out of him to get him to notice me.
Dope. Yep.
Nothing happened. He didn't open the yeah.
Here I am going like, let's go.
No,
Oh shit. Okay.
absolutely fruitless. Nothing happened. So I was like, okay, motherfucker. All right, hard to get. So I pushed a little further and I was like, I'm going to do this again. So I did it again. Even less of nothing happened. So I was like, okay, I need to like have a different strategy here. So I went to the beach. I made my boyfriend film me basically explaining why I think that I'm a good fit for the comeback of the greatest tour of all time. So I went through like a couple examples of why, made it really fun and fucking like MTV, like whatever. And then I edited it all together and then at the end was like, thanks for your consideration, blah, blah, blah. And then I like went through my phone book and sent it to every person that I thought might have like a friend of a friend of an uncle of a fucking whoever
Mm.
connection with Kevin. I was like, hey, I'm trying to get on the bill. I don't know if you know Kevin, but if you know someone, blah, blah, blah. Everybody was like, don't know. I'm like, sorry. I was like, sick. So then my boyfriend was working at Third Street Tattoo in Hermosa Beach, which is
Okay.
like a South Bay iconic shop. It's owned by Jeremy Hartland and Fletcher from Pennywise. And
No shit. Okay.
mhm.
Dope.
And so Jeremy and I have been homies for a minute. He'd been following my music career. And so Evan was supposed to work at this other shop. It didn't work out. So we started going around to other shops in the area. And I was like, I don't know if you're going to get to work at Third Street. It's like iconic. So like we didn't even look. And then Jeremy like hit me up and was like, hey, I heard like your boyfriend's like looking for work. And I was like, oh shit, like you're going to get to work at Third Street? What the
Mm.
fuck? So he got to work at Third Street. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I could see if like Jeremy would maybe talk to Fletcher because I know Fletcher's close with Kevin, but like I don't know Fletcher at all. Like Pennywise used to play in the backyard of my neighbor's house. So like I would like listening to Pennywise play in the backyard, but like there was no connection between me and
Yeah.
Fletcher like at all. So I was like, fuck, I don't know if I want to like put that on Jeremy. So I kind of just like left that for a second. And then I started Googling Kevin of like how can I find him? So I found that he worked at USC, which is where I went to college.
Okay.
So I called up the head of my program that I went there for and was like, I need your help. And he's like, I don't work at USC anymore. And I was like, bro. And he was like, but like I did rub elbows with Kevin like a couple times. Like he's really nice. You're fucking perfect for Warped Tour. Let me like see if I can get an email address. And I was like, okay. So email address. Also, this chair is really squeaky. If it sounds like I'm ripping ass, I promise you
Oh,
this
you're
is
good, dude. I got the same thing going on.
making me crazy. So I
You're
hope it's
good.
not
You're good. No, you're fine. Don't worry about it. I actually haven't heard it once, so you're fine.
Okay, fab. So I sat with this email and he's like, go ahead and like tell him that like I fucking sent you. Like, let's make this happen. And I was like, okay. Because one thing about me is like, I will never ask for help. I like have a really difficult time asking for help. So it's like all these connections I've made over the years, I haven't utilized a single one because I've never
Mm.
felt like, I don't know if worthy is the word, or like I just want everything to be perfect. So I have this perfect package to deliver. And I've never felt like I have this perfect package to deliver. So I've never called on any of these contacts. And this was one of those moments where I was like, hey man, like I'm gonna pull the like help card. I need help.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's gracious enough to give me the email. He's like, put my name in the subject, like you just got to talk to him. So I did that. I wrote an email and I basically was just like, look, I just want to talk to you. If you could give me like 15 minutes of your time. I didn't spam him with fucking songs. I didn't spam
Oh,
him.
dope.
I didn't do any of that shit. I was like, hey dude, like, I got your email from so and so. They think I'm a good fit for Warp Tour. This is where I'm from. If you have a couple minutes to chat, I'd love to talk more about it. He got back to me right away. He was like, great,
Damn.
tomorrow. And I was like, okay. So then I called him the next day, spoke with him about it. And again, didn't really talk about Warp Tour or me that much. We kind of just like talked about random shit. And he was busy, like he was doing something. So I was like, just nervous, dude. I was so nervous. I
That's
don't even know
wild.
what I fucking said. I was probably such an idiot on the phone.
That's crazy.
Basically, he asked me if I had any shows coming up. And thankfully, I had like four that month. This was in October. I was like, yeah, I'm playing like four times, blah, blah. He's like, great. He's like, send me the shows and like maybe I'll come through. And I was like, cool. So
Y'all, hold on 1 second. Because every step of this way, I'd be shitting my pants. First off, I got the email, I'd be crying. I sent the email, I'd be crying. I got a message back, I'd be crying. He wants to talk, like all these little steps. Like even if I didn't make the bill, dude, I'd be fucking like, yo, I got to talk to Kevin. I got the opportunity. But that's why. Keep going. Keep going.
wild, dude. Wow. We were on a train in Philly. I remember this. I sat and reread this email to myself like 45 times. I sent it to every single brother. I sent it to my mom. I sent it to my friends. I was like, I need everyone to tell me, like, does this sound dumb?
Yeah, you have to.
Dude, it took me like 36 hours of just like killing myself over like 8 sentences for me to finally just like send it. So yeah, when the email came through, he was like, sure, call me with the number. I was just
Okay, dude, sure. Didn't know it was that easy. Fuck. I made a video though.
yeah.
Oh,
So
fuck.
I didn't even send him the video because
No,
I was
yeah, I
like,
bet.
cool, play cool. So then yeah, I sent him the dates. He kind of talked about the whole process and why it's taken a minute to come back and why they're only doing a couple cities, and that he's been trying, he like the only way he wants to do it is if he can keep it like true
Mm.
to what Warped Tour is, which I respect the fuck out of him. Like this man is so busy and like is going through so much with like, I mean, like he was in the thick of the fires and like what he does for, anyway, he's a fucking dude. Like I'll forever be in debt to him, like forever. So I sent him the dates of the shows and never heard from him again. So then I like would follow up before each show, being like, hey, like you're on the guest list with a +1. Nothing. Hey, reminder, I'm not sure if you came to the last one, but there's another one tonight. Guest list, blah, 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 blah. He'd be like, nothing. And then the third one, um, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna say anything. So I didn't say anything. And I just
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of and then the fourth one, I was in the car with Rob and we were on our way to Harvard and Stone. And I was like, what do I do? And he was like, bitch, like squeaky wheel gets the grease. He's like, just fucking hit him up again. And I was
Yeah.
like, really? And he's like, yeah, who cares? You
Facts.
don't
You're either not gonna
decide.
see him again or you'll get in.
Right. He's either gonna think you're some annoying bitch or like maybe he'll come to the show. Like, who cares? And I
Yeah.
was like, you're right, who cares? So I texted him the same thing. I was like, hey, like, you've got a +1. This is the last show that I'm playing this month. Um, whatever. And then he said, like, are you represented by anyone? Like,
Like a label or something.
yeah. He's like something really like the way it was phrased, I was like, huh? And I just put like no. I was just like, I don't know what he's asking really, but I think the answer is no. So I just put no.
Your face reaction. I
I was like, I don't know what this means. And then nothing. And then I was like, all right, well, I was like, I did my thing. He's
You
a
tried.
man,
Yep.
it's like
Fuck it.
I tried. And then we played the show, and normally there's someone like running tickets. You can see like if people from your guest list showed up or like who they're there
Okay.
for. But the headliner, Sweet Sophie, got in a car accident on her way to the
Oh
gig.
shit.
So she was like, everybody was like pitching in to help her get ready. So we ended up not having a doorman. So there was the guest list didn't exist anymore, and nobody was counting tickets to see who was here for who. So I have no idea if he came
Damn.
or not. The show was sick. It was like a Halloween show. My band dressed as the Average Joes from Dodgeball,
I
and like
saw. I was gonna ask you about that. Damn, that was sick, dude. Yeah, I saw
I
that
was
post. Yeah,
it was
that's cool.
so such a good show. Like it was great. And then I was like, all right, I like nothing happened. And so 2 weeks go by and I'm like, I don't know what to do. And one of my friends was like, you should put together a compilation. Wes, my buddy Wes, was like, put together a compilation video from that night, text him and say, like, because at this point, I had never said, I'll do whatever to play Warped. It was like very chill. Like he knew what I wanted. I didn't need to fucking like be annoying, you know?
Yeah, that's respect. Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna just kind of let this whatever's meant to be type shit. And so this was kind of the moment where I was like, all right, this is the last time I'm gonna hit him up. I put together this little thing, was like, hey, I don't know if you made the show, if you made it or not 2 weeks ago. Um, so I put together a compilation video for you. Um, I would I would really love to play Warped Tour this summer. And if there's anything else you need to see or hear from me, please let me know. If not, no worries. I hope you have a great holiday season and like thank you for giving me this time. Something along
Fuck
those
yeah.
lines.
Yes. Yeah.
And I didn't hear from him. Like he has his read receipts on, so he was reading
Oh,
all
you
the text
son of a
messages.
bitch. You bastard. Fuck.
I'm just like,
Take it off.
take him off.
Oh shit. Damn, that would piss me off.
Oh, dude, I was like, whatever. Like he was really nice. He was did not owe me that time and he gave it to me anyway. Like great experience. I learned a lot. I'm gonna go to Warped Tour anyway. Like, thank you, God,
Love it.
whatever. And then a month later, I got the email.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. And what was the email like detailed or was it just like a formal thing or was it him being like you're in? It was formal. So he was just like
It
we're just
wasn't
sending
him.
it.
It was
Wow.
the team. It was like the
Agent.
contract.
Yo, that's what a roller coaster. Yo, I'm so proud of you because that's like that takes so much shit, bro. Like I don't know you through a hole in the wall, but I know how hard that must have been for you and the bandmates like to go through that shit, but also to make the decisions as a human being. That's like so hard. Like people with like just people without anxiety, like I can that's hard, but people with anxiety and shit like that's like that blows my mind because like I could feel every step of that through you, which is like it's just stressful and like I'm so proud of you for being able to like have the courage to like listen to your body, your mind, your friends, your family and be like, "Listen, I have to do it," and then question when you need it. Like that's like a full-hearted circle of like deserving to get in there. And you also like you gave peace to it. You were like, "Well, I did everything in my fucking nature that I possibly could do, and I can't control what I can't control." And then all of a sudden it was like it was almost like he was in your mind. He's like, I'm gonna make her work for it, but in her way that's gonna make her an even better person. And that's what you did. That's so sick, dude. That's so sick.
But honestly, I appreciate that. Like that was like a fuck it moment. Like that
Right?
was like I just like last year was like the year of fuck it for me. I was like literally no, like why am I embarrassed to put this out? Like nobody cares. Why am I embarrassed to say this out loud? Like nobody cares. Like why am I afraid to act like blah, 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 nobody cares? And so it was like, well, I've been doing this all year, fucking just doing the thing. Who cares if, Kevin Lyman hates me at the end of this? Like, oh
Yeah.
well, but what if, dude, like, when you have that moment where it's like,
Oh
what
yeah.
if everything goes well? Like,
Yeah.
if you like stop stressing for once in your fucking life and like give something a chance to like actually happen.
Yeah.
Um, and so that was yeah, dude, fuck. Even just talking about it with you, this is like so fucking surreal. Like it's
It's
so
very surreal.
crazy.
Yeah. You gotta
Crazy.
get fuck it tattooed on you. Or like
I
F you gotta
know.
get or who cares? Like cause that shit's real, bro. Cause you had that fuck it year and look what it did for you. And like you could have done none of that or like never responded to a text, and none of this, but you had the balls to be like, fuck you, Meg. I'm not listening to you. I'm gonna listen to the other Meg, and I'm gonna do this shit. And you did that, and that's empowering, dude. And now look at you. Now look at you. You
Thank
son of a
you.
bitch.
Thank you so much.
That son of a bitch.
That was crazy.
That's a great story. That is fucking. That's life. That's cool. You deserve
Yeah.
that. Thank you for that detailed story about how you got it. Because I don't know. I'm just sitting over here like, how are all these bands getting on? Like, you obviously know the bigger ones that are like getting on. And you're like, obviously. Some of the other ones that are up and coming, like, obviously, like, you're just like, okay. And then you get like the guys like you, and it's just like, wait, how did not in a bad way, but like, how did they get on? Like, how?
Oh,
Especially
I
being
know.
in a music podcast, you're like, how does this work? Because like we have some connections too. We've never used our connections ever. Like we're very much like you in the mindset of like we don't want to use help. Like if we ever needed it, of course, or if it was minor, maybe. We've never used it even at the littlest of things. Um, we do have one guy that helps us out with some information before it, so we kind of knew about Warped Tour before it started. But like if there was ever an opportunity like this for us in that sense, we would have done the same thing. Anybody in
Right,
their right mind would have. So that's like
right.
that's incredible. And not only that, I want to get into this just a little bit. Uh, you're a female, and that is huge. And the amount of female front bands in Warped Tour is blowing my mind in the best way possible. And I absolutely love seeing it. We've interviewed a lot of females, and we absolutely love the scene blowing up more. And I don't know if that's whether it's social media or it just scene is changing or something. Um, it's absolutely outstanding to see bands like we get Cliff Diver on there, Millionaires XO, Mary Jo, Sweet Pill, and you got people like Taylor Acorn on there, which we interviewed Taylor Acorn not too long ago. I know a band, LOL, it's Leah. I think she just goes by Leah now. We had her on the podcast. She's hoping to get in. She's doing the Battle of Bands. Like it is absolutely beautiful to see another female like yourself get into Warped Tour, because there's always been that stigma on like girls can't do this shit. And I just wanted to hear kind of like whether you want to go in depth with it or not is up to you, but I just want to hear like what are your thoughts on seeing all these girls getting announced?
It's fucking sick.
Yeah.
Like it's super sick. I'm a tomboy, like to my core.
hmm
I've always been surrounded by dudes. I think because I have brothers and a lot of my friends are guys and this and that, but like still a fucking girl's girl. And it's cool to see that kind of inclusion. I don't know, like to be 100% honest, if I ever noticed how few female fronted bands or artists were on lineups before. Like, I'm not even gonna like sit here and pretend like I've been like activating against this because I didn't really know.
Yeah.
And so, like, there was something that I saw, I think it was like the When We Were Young Fest lineup, and there were like three or
Yep.
four female things. And like, I guess in the pop world, there are so many female acts that for me, I guess growing up, it was like when I'm listening to pop, I'm listening to girls. And when I'm listening to punk, I'm listening to guys. And sing, like Brody Dale, like all of those, like No Doubt, Paramore and the Distillers, like it was always so cool to me. But I guess I never really realized that it wasn't like equal,
Yeah.
you know? I think because the boys in my life have always been really inclusive and like supportive and building me up. Like I've been
That's
very lucky
awesome.
that way. So yeah, I mean, seeing the conversation about it now and learning that like, yeah, because if I think about all the Warp Tours that I've been to, I don't think I've ever seen a single female act on that stage, if I'm thinking about it now.
I've seen one, and that was it. That's the only one I remember, and it was some cover band of Cherry Bomb, and it was like
That's
16-year-old girls.
crazy. That's
That's it.
crazy. Oh, like the Lindolins?
I think so, yeah, something like that. Yeah, it was like, but this was like 2010, maybe 2013,
Oh,
like
so then
that.
not them. Because I
But it
think
was
I
it was it was like that. You know how like they're because they just went on tour with Green Day, right, or something
I
like
think
that.
so. I think
Yeah, because
so.
I'm pretty sure I just saw them with Green Day in Boston, which I'm stupid for not remembering. But my point was, yeah, no, I don't remember either. I don't. Besides that one.
Yeah. I guess that's, yeah, fuck. And we went to the first When We Were Young fest. Um, and I don't think I saw, oh my God, yeah, yeah, that's
Isn't that
bad. That's
crazy? Isn't that It's not. Well, it's not. It is bad, but it's not at the same time because it's like it's so we're not used to it, and there's so many things around us as well, especially at festivals, man. But I mean, like, the point is, like, there's a lot coming up now, and it's awesome to see. And like finding bands like yourself is just it's a really cool thing to see because it's not just, oh, it's a girl. It's no, no, no. She's an artist. This is an artist. This is a band, and let's rock. You like the music, let's fucking rock. And now you get to showcase that to, a lot of people. I'm not.
what's crazy now that you're saying that. I guess I have always felt this need to really like turn up the masculinity in my music and my performance. And I think now that we're talking about it, maybe there was that thing of, I mean, I always faced that not being taken seriously for things because of being a girl,
Yeah.
especially like doing like this kind of music, right?
Hmm.
Um, and I think that that is has been a part of something that I've been struggling to like accept my femininity and like live more in the feminine side of me in the way that I dress and present.
Yeah.
Um, like when I see like fucking like heavier bands with girls like wearing like dresses on stage, like I'm like, how are you doing that?
Yeah.
Like, A, it's super sick,
Yeah.
but B, I'm like, there's a part of me that like when I'm up there like singing or doing a show, like I feel like I have to be like so like bleh,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
in
Yeah.
order to like get there. So I always really admire that, like
Like
putting like
Poppy.
yes, yes.
Yeah, bro.
Um, like one of my buddies, Kit Major, she'll perform in like a big fat tutu, a big fat dress, like
That's
lead
dope.
singer of like fucking Slaughterhouse. I don't know if you've got into them
Yeah.
yet,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
she was wearing these like chunky, like floral feminine platforms with her jeans and her studded belt. And I'm like, that is so sick.
Love
Like
that.
putting in that pop of femininity because I think like for the female artists that do lean into the heavier, punkier, grungy thing, like I do think there is that stigma. And I think it's such a fuck you to like look that in the face and be like, no, I'm gonna have my tits out and scream in your face. So, like
Yeah.
Amel will just perform in like a panties and a bra and she
Yeah.
she like loves it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
God, like it's so cool. That's
Yeah.
so inspiring.
That's dope. And that's how it should be. Whatever you feel like doing, the confidence is all up to whatever you're up to. And I think that's dope. And I think the
Yeah.
the, the more I see the woman get announced, or female fronted bands or female artists, it's awesome to me. And Batch. Everything I'm saying is also in Batch too. I just want to throw him in there too for the listeners because I know they're probably like, where the fuck is that guy from Lynn? He's he's from because we're from Massachusetts, and he's more in like Boston, so he's got this city accent. I don't have it that much. He's like hardcore, so it's funny. But
Oh, I heard.
yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
yeah, damn, it's
yeah,
there.
yeah. but but yeah, that's dope. I love hearing that stuff. I honestly feel like I could talk to you for like 3 or 4 more hours. Jesus Christ. Um, I didn't even get through half the shit that I thought I would. But I am gonna come to a little bit of a close because I probably gotta get going, and you do too. Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my
See
God,
what's
I didn't realize it's been an hour.
Bro, it's good. I love it. Normally
Yeah.
we'd go for as long as possible. But I have a few more questions that I know are gonna lead a little more time. If you got a little more time.
Sure, sure, sure. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dope. Okay. All right. Let's get back to it. I have a few more things. All right. So before we go, before we plug your shit, before you give us a little bit about the end because it's coming out today, um, we have two questions we always end with. I ask one, Batch asks one. Um, I'm gonna ask Batches first, and I'm gonna follow up with my question. So Batch always likes to know, and I'm pretty sure we have a good understanding through this episode, and the listeners do. Give us your Mount Rushmore of music, whether it's pop, punk, pop, whatever the hell it is. What is your Mount Rushmore of artists? I know it's hard.
God, fuck you for that.
Yeah.
Bat. Um, you mean like to play with?
No, it could be listen like mine would be like Black Flag,
Just in general.
Blink 182. Yeah, like your top Mount Rushmore of artists. It can be anything. It literally could be fucking the soundtrack to Moana. I don't know.
Fire soundtrack,
It
honestly.
really is, yeah.
I feel like, oh my God, dude, what an asshole.
Yeah, he's a
Um,
piece of shit, dude. Fuck you, Batch.
it's hard because it's like there's like my Mount Rushmore now versus like the Mount Rushmore that like made me.
Fair.
Do
That's
you
a,
know?
yeah. I feel what you're. Trust me, I don't ask that question. That's why
Okay,
I don't
fine. Okay,
ask
fine.
it. It's a good
Then we're
question
gonna
though.
do two because since you're being an asshole, I'm gonna be a fucking bitch. So we're gonna do Mount Rushmore Jr., who I feel like made me, and then Mount Rushmore now.
Send it. First time. I love it.
Okay. Okay. Um, Britney Spears,
Let's go.
100%. She is like the queen of pop. I don't give a fuck what you think about it. Sublime. Um, oh my God. Do we like Taking Back Sunday or do I go with like, oh, Britney Spears, Sublime? Gotta do Blink 182. Like that, just like,
Yes.
yeah, has
I
to be
knew I
one.
liked you. I knew
Like,
I liked you.
has to. I love Green Day, but I feel like it's gotta be Blink.
Yeah, blink all day. Sorry, Batch.
And then, and then, and then, no, oh no, no doubt, no doubt, no
No
doubt.
doubt. Got you.
They really like shaped me for sure. I would say like now,
Take your time.
I feel like Paramore just has to be in there. Paramore is
I,
like life for so many people, especially me.
yep.
Paramore is in there. There's only four, so like I really don't know. Like Turnstile, but I'm
Mm.
like, but then I feel like Every Time I Die was such a big part of my 20s.
Mm. I'm so glad I don't have to answer this question.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb. But like I've also been like loving Fiddler lately. Like Remy Wolf is also such a crazy musician
Mm.
and writer. She's crazy. Um, bro, I can't.
That's perfect.
There's like
Bravo.
there's
Bra-
Rancid. I'm like
bra-
I have like, transplants, like
oh,
fucking
the
the
transplants.
Killers. I'm like
Operation Ivy.
Operation like there's I'm sorry. I'm out.
She can relax.
Like
Yo, hit
this,
the
I'm
brakes.
literally twitching over this question.
He's like, yo, you're
You
feeling
know
like,
me, Steven, you know me. I'm all over the place genre wise. This is an impossible question for me.
yo, relax. I love it. I love it. That was great. That was like Kevin Lyman not getting back to you. You're just having, panic attack. What the fuck,
Complication.
Steve? That's Batch. That's
Uh,
Batch. All right, fuck Batch, right? He's a great guy. We love him to death.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
you would love him. He's great. We'll definitely have to have you back on for sure. All right, that was a great answer. I got my last question. We didn't really get into it, but it's a super big part of this podcast, and I'm honestly like, I had a great time on this podcast, and maybe in the future we'll talk about it, maybe not. But the other half of us that we talk about is mental health. It's whatever we feel like talking about. It's something me and Batch um, never talked about, never opened up about until the podcast. It was really weird. It was really vulnerable. Um, and now that I have the floodgates have opened, Batch is a little still reserved, but he's really fucking amazing, and he's come so far about talking about that stuff, and so haven't I. From attempting to take our own life, from having extreme OCD, anxiety, addictions. We talk about all of it, and then we talk to other people that open up about it if they feel like it, or we talk to people that don't, and we just are all over the place. But we like to spread the word of mental health awareness, whether it's at the very end of the episode and we didn't talk about it. Or we talked about it the whole entire time like we have had before. But getting to my point is there's tools people can use to get through. There's things they can do to cope. There's sometimes nothing you can do. But what I like to do is ask every artist that comes on, what are some tools that you use to cope with your mental health? And whether that's anxiety, depression, a shitty day, you dropped your coffee, or a really bad day where you really feel like, the world's about to end, what are some tools that Meg does to, help with that? Like for myself, it would be listening to music. I work out a fuck ton. Hockey's really fun. Stuff like that. So what are some tools that you use that we can, add to the list for people?
Well, first of all, thank you for sharing all of that with me. That's like really dope that you guys like started this during COVID and like really got to share in the experience of like opening up together for the first time like that. That's fucking sick. And then doing this and just normalizing it and keeping the conversation going because like we all struggle with it, whether or not we like to admit to it or not. And this is really fucking good shit that you guys are doing for that. So thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Honestly, it's the same. The working out and the music for me. Like when I was a kid, I lost my dad like tragically and suddenly out of the blue. And what really got me through that was like in the car, long drives, music all the way up, windows all the way down. Um, Lots of screaming, whether it be like happy music, sad music, it doesn't really matter. But like a long drive with screaming at the top of my lungs, singing along to my favorite albums, like that's number one. Number two, and probably tied with number one, is like going outside and running. Like when I
Mm,
feel like I am so overwhelmed, like I don't really know exactly what happens to me. I haven't really like gone to get diagnosis or anything like that. I just feel like my chest will like puff up and I can't like I feel like I can't catch my breath. And so like then I'm like I got to go outside immediately and run. And so like that has been difficult being in Tennessee versus California with like
I
the
can
weather
imagine.
shift. Like that's hard.
Eesh.
12 degrees outside, right? Or 20 degrees outside. So like, you know, I ended up getting like a hot yoga membership because I was like, I have to be, oh, that's her thing, hot yoga.
Dope.
In that like 1 hour, I have nothing else that I can possibly think about other than trying to survive the hour.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So hot. Um, but that I have to do that for my brain. Honestly, songwriting is not at the top of the list for me for that. I
Yeah,
like am very much a physical um like therapy for me is physical. Number
same.
three, like, if I'm going through hardship, that's when I'll write. Or if I'm struggling to figure out how I feel about a situation, or I'm experiencing heartbreak, or extreme joy, I'll write to process my feelings. But if I'm like really having like a visceral reaction to something, or I'm like at my limit, I have to like move my body.
That's dope. Yeah, I'm the same way. That's exactly how I am. I can't really relax actually if I struggle with that a little too much sometimes. But if I'm going through something, yeah, I found lifting when I attempted suicide, and that's what saved my life. I was anorexic. Story for another day. I definitely also willing to share. But yeah, I went through all that stuff, and I found lifting and movement, and I was just like, holy fuck, dude! Like this is what's gonna save my life, and I still do it to this day. And it's just like, yeah, it's therapeutic. And I go in. I don't do yoga, but I know how awesome it's definitely beneficial. And I do the sauna, and holy fuck, dude, that's just
Same
dope.
shit. Like
Yeah,
I can't do regular yoga for me. I'm too ADD for it.
yeah, yeah,
Has to be like 112-degree yoga.
yeah,
Because otherwise I'm just like, I don't want to be in this pose anymore. I'm bored. What am I thinking
yeah.
about? It's like hot yoga, like you're sweating from your elbows, bitch. Like everything is wet and you're just trying to stay alive, you know?
Should quote that. You're sweating from your elbows, bitch.
Dude, it's like, and
That's
then,
great.
and then they're like telling you to breathe out loud. I'm like, fuck. Sometimes you just forget. Shit feels so heavy, you forget to breathe, dude.
Yeah, I do that all the time. I do that all the time.
Ugh.
But that was those were great. Those are great. Thank you for sharing that. I'm gonna add it to the list. And at some point, I want to make like a book or something out of it where I can just like, write your tools. Like it'll just say like Meg's tools, and then or at the bottom it'll say your tools, and at the bottom it'll just be like dash Megg from the band Megg, and then same thing with all the other bands. I want that to be a book, and I want to just give it to people for
Oh,
free and be like, let's fucking go. That's the goal. It just spread the awareness and the stuff. Because like you said, I love what you said. It's uh everyone's struggling, whether they admit it or not, or whether they know or not. So it's
100%. Whether
real
they know or
shit.
not.
Whether they
Exactly.
know it. All right, cool. All right, is that like serious shit? Fucking death. All right, let's go. All right. Meg, you have been a pleasure. I want you to plug your shit. Tell everybody where they can get uh all your stuff, whatever it is, tour, merch, fucking look out for Warped Tour. Holy fuck, that was fun.
Yeah, that was a fucking roller coaster. Jeez.
uh,
Two ADD kids in a
yeah,
fucking
no
zoo.
doubt. And not the band.
My my shit is plugged at pretty much everything Meg Music, Instagram, fucking TikTok, whatever else you use. And then for like a good old school millennial, I got a website, megmusic.com. That's got everything up there. If you're in LA, my next show is March 11th at the Redwood Bar. I'm playing with Kit Major. She's got a residency there. She's also sick. You should check her out. Um, and then yeah, Warped Tour in Long Beach, 26, 27. I've got The End is out today. Fucking stream it. It's sick. And then I've got some other music I'm dropping as well, some other shows as well. You can find all of that at Instagram or my website. Hopefully we'll have news about a tour in the fall. That is the goal. We'll see what happens with life, but that's the goal. And yeah, has the shit been pluggeth? Like, is
That's
that it?
pluggeth, dude. That's pluggeth enough. Sidebar, are you gonna come to Massachusetts at any point? Come on, dude.
Oh
If you
man, I'll add
well,
it to
add
the
it to the just for us. Not a big deal, you know.
I'll add it to the list. Well, my guitar player is from Massachusetts, so
Oh shit, where's he from? Do you know? Don't worry about it. We'll talk about it next time.
Sebastian Nutley. I don't know if it's a pretty specific name, so I'll have to ask him.
All right, Mick. I appreciate it. Everyone go listen to the end. We're gonna go out with a little bit of the end. It came out today. Meg, thank you so much. All right. Goodbye. Uh,
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Have a good weekend.
dope. Hey, thank you so much, Meg. You've been a pleasure. We will definitely hit you back up. Let us know anytime you want to come on. If you got new shit you want to plug to, we'll have you back on, and we'll be in the loops. And we'll hit you up soon. Congrats on Warped Tour and everything else. And have a good
Cool.
night.
Much. That was so fun. You
All
too.
right. Bye.
This is the end, and I